Hi guys, I'm Clay Ballard. I know a lot of you out there are Ben Hogan fans. I'm a Hogan fan myself. I used to study Hogan swing a lot, and one of the most amazing things about Ben Hogan is his ability to shape shots, and that's something that he practiced every single day. In this video, I'm going to give you a great drill to help you practice in a similar fashion to Ben Hogan so that you can start shaping shots, hitting both a fade, hitting a draw, and learning how to practice those moves correctly. And as always, I have some great bonuses for you guys, so be sure to stick around to the end of the video. Let's go ahead and get started on working the ball like Ben Hogan. Okay, so for those of you who studied Ben Hogan a lot, who read some of the books that he's put out, who other people put out on his swing and how he used to practice, you know that every day he used to practice working all the different shots. So he'd hit a draw, he'd hit fade, he'd hit it low and high, and he'd work on all these every day. And one of the books that I've read on Hogan, said that he used to have a caddy, and in those days you had a caddy that went out onto the range, and that caddy would go out there and stand at a distance of a pitching wedge. And Hogan would hit the different shots, a fade, a draw, and he wanted his goal to be to hit them and land right at the caddy's feet so he didn't have to step at all. And he'd work on his pitching wedge until he felt like that was perfect, and then he'd move on to a 9-iron, and then an 8-iron, and then all the way through the bag. And that's kind of what we're going to do today. We're going to apply the 40-60 rule for improvement, and we're going to work just on a fade and a draw. So that's kind of the starting point to learning how to correctly shape the ball. So with the 40-60 rule, as you may have heard me mention before, we want to be successful 40 to 60% of the time. So if I'm hitting 10 shots, I want to be successful right off the bat 40 to 60% of the time, and that's that great window of improvement. And if you can do that, you're going to improve quickly. If I make the drill so hard that I'm only improving 10% of the time, it's too difficult. I'm not going to improve very much. If I make it to where I'm hitting it 100% of the time, I'm not really learning anything. I'm just practicing something that I already know how to do. So we want to stay in that window. So for this drill, what you'll see here is I have this alignment rod by my feet, which is going to be pointed toward a target in the distance. And the target in the distance is represented by this orange stick that I have just a few feet ahead. You can pick a target 200 yards away, 100 yards away, it doesn't really matter. We just want a target to aim at. Now for this drill, this stick is going to be lined up right toward that target. And at first I want to practice on just hitting the ball to the right of that stick. So imagine this is a center line, and I'm going to call this the center line drill. Any good shot for a draw would be a shot that started on this side of the stick and that drew back toward that stick. Now the key is we can never have that ball cross this center line or that rod. It can never go to this side of that rod. So that by practicing this effectively, we can eliminate this entire side of the course. Now once we've done that and we're hitting our draw, we're going to turn around and hit a fade. We're going to do the same thing. It's going to start to the left. It's going to fade back toward this center line, but it can never cross that center line. So it's successful if it starts left, fades back, and is still on the left for a fade. It's successful if with a draw it starts to the right, draws back, but never crosses that line. So you want to go ahead and start out with something very, very simple. Maybe your 40 to 60 success rate, starting out as a kind of a beginning golfer, a mid to high handicap golfer, is just going to be to line up your feet a little bit to the right. Feel like you get that club coming a little more from the inside, and I'm going to start that ball out to the right. Hit that one a little heavy, but I'm starting out to the right and getting that ball to draw back. Now if I can get to where I can do those little short shots, 20 and 30 yard shots, successful 60 to 70% of the time, getting up into 80, 90% of the time, then I'm ready to make it more difficult. So I'm starting out at 40 to 60. As soon as I get up to the 80 or 90%, I'm ready to make that more difficult. Now I'm going to make some bigger swings. So I'm going to go ahead and keep on practicing until I get that success rate, and then I'm going to go ahead and make some fuller swings as I'll do here. I'll go ahead and make a 3/4 swing maybe. There we go, and that ball started out to the right. It's drawing back, and it's staying to the right of this stick. So I picked out a tree there in the distance. It stayed to the right of that, so that counts. And then I'm going to go and hit my fade, do the same thing. I'll go ahead and make a bigger swing, play a fade, and I'm going to keep my score out of 10 and see if I can get 4 to 6 right off the bat. And that one was good also. Didn't really fade much. I don't know if I'd count that. That was pretty much a straight shot. But I'm hitting those shots, and I'm going to keep my score out of 10 to see how many were successful. And I'm going to adjust the difficulty to get to that 4 to 6 range. As I improve, I'm going to make it more and more difficult. So don't be embarrassed or don't be ashamed if you're starting out and you're only hitting these little 10-yard chip shots. That's okay. That's where everybody has a start. Somebody has a start there at some point, no matter how good they are. At some point, that was the best they could do, and that's definitely okay. That's going to help you to get right, improving right along. So here's a couple tips when you're playing your fade or your draw. First off, we're going to start with our feet, and I'm going to tweak my alignment a little bit. If I'm going to play a fade, I'm going to open up my feet a little bit. If I'm going to play a draw, I'm going to close my feet a little bit. And now, this club, if I'm playing a draw, I want it to go ahead and release. So I want that face to roll on over. So I'm going to imagine that I'm taking a steering wheel and I'm turning it to the left as I'm coming through impact with my draw. And for my fade, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to go ahead and open up my feet. I'm going to imagine I'm turning that steering wheel to the right, and I'm going to go ahead and hold that off like I'm hitting a fade. So those are some great tips for you. I have some more tips at the end of this video in a bonus video, but that'll help you get started. Remember the 40-60 rule and practice this centerline drill to get better and better at your ball flight control. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to click the like button below, post your comments. I'll try to get to each and every one of those comments and help you guys out with any questions that you may have. And as a bonus to you, I'm going to attach a preview of a video from the premium website. You can watch that video when you click the link in the bottom right hand side of your screen, or you click in the description below. That's going to play the rest of that video for free when you sign up for your free Rotary Swing membership. Plus you're going to get about 4 hours of bonus instruction. Really cool. Also, for those of you who do join up as premium members, be sure to submit your swing reviews. We have video swing reviews where we use live video analysis of your swing. We just started doing that, just now implementing that in the site, and that's really going to help you to improve by having your own custom coach that's going to give you 2 reviews per month included in your membership. That's with a premium membership. So go ahead and try out that free membership. If you decide to join up, get the premium membership and get started with those reviews. I'll see you guys soon, and good luck with your golf game. Okay, so we've seen how the hips only produce a very small amount of club head speed. So what are the main producers of club head speed? And the first thing I want to talk to you about is the torso, and that includes the hips. We saw that the hips roughly are accountable for about 6-7 miles an hour club head speed. Let's go ahead and add the torso to that when that means your spine. So my hips rotating would look something like this. This is me not moving my shoulders at all. This is just me rotating my hips, and my torso and hips are rotating together. Now this would be me rotating my shoulders without rotating my hips. So as we put these together, that would be torso rotations. That's from your shoulders down, all the club head speed that you're going to get in the swing. So that's this motion here. I'm not going to use any arms at all. Let me grab a club and I'm going to make a few swings, and we'll take a look at how much speed that's going to produce when we do that type of motion. So here, no arms at all torso. I'm going to go ahead and swing about as hard as I can there. And we're getting about 57 miles an hour. So that tells me, the shoulders actually put quite a bit of speed in there when used correctly. So if I load my shoulders, one of the biggest keys to getting a good club head speed is getting a